Life is full of relationships, some we're born into and others we choose. But not all of them are healthy. Some people, even those closest to us, can become the very sources of our emotional chaos. Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes rational thought, inner peace, and personal virtue, teaches us that while we cannot control others, we can control who we allow into our emotional world. As Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." In the same way, it's impossible to grow in peace if you're holding on to connections that consistently bring pain, confusion, or disorder. This video is not about cold detachment, it's about rational clarity. Here are 8 clear signs, rooted in Stoic reasoning, that it may be time to walk away from a relationship, even if that person is a friend or even family. 1. Persistent disrespect, expanded. No relationship can survive without respect. Respect is the currency of dignity, and once it's repeatedly violated, the connection begins to rot from within. Whether it's subtle sarcasm, eye-rolling when you speak, ignoring your boundaries, or outright verbal abuse, chronic disrespect reveals something deeper: a lack of regard for your being. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." But then he reminds us that we have a choice to meet them with reason, not to absorb their poison. When disrespect becomes routine, it's not a signal to fight harder, it's a signal to detach with clarity. If someone refuses to honor your dignity, they don't deserve your loyalty. 2. Emotional manipulation, expanded. Manipulation is when someone uses your emotions against you. They might guilt-trip you into doing what they want. They might rewrite past events to make you doubt yourself. That's gaslighting. They might cry and play the victim every time you're about to set a boundary. To the Stoic, emotional clarity is sacred. Seneca warned us, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And manipulative people exploit our imagination. They feed us false guilt, false responsibility, and false hope. You are not cruel for resisting manipulation. You are clear-headed. And in the Stoic way, clarity is not harsh, it's liberating. 3. Lack of reciprocity, expanded. Are you always the one reaching out? Are you always the one fixing, helping, explaining, or supporting? A relationship without reciprocity is not a connection. It's a slow bleed. Stoicism doesn't ask you to keep score, but it does remind you to value your time, energy, and presence, because these things are finite. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. You don't have to beg anyone to match your effort. If someone never reciprocates your support, they're showing you that they don't value the bond. And that truth is a gift, even if it hurts. 4. Consistent negativity, expanded. Some people wear negativity like a second skin. They criticize, complain, and condemn every day without fail. And if you stay close for long enough, their pessimism becomes the atmosphere of your life. Now, Stoicism is not blind optimism. It doesn't tell you to fake happiness. It tells you to embrace truth and act with reason. But if someone never seeks solutions, if every joy you share is met with skepticism, if every success is met with jealousy or dismissal, that's not realism. That's toxic fog. As Epictetus once said, you become what you give your attention to. Give your attention to growth, and let those anchored to negativity drift out of your circle. 5. Violation of trust, expanded. Trust is the silent contract that holds all relationships together. Once broken, especially repeatedly, it fractures the entire foundation. They lied once, then twice. Then they kept things from you to protect you. Or they promised things and never followed through. Eventually, you stop believing their words and start living on guard. To a Stoic, this is a trap. Living in constant suspicion clouds judgment. Seneca reminds us, "He who is brave is free." Bravery, in this case, means walking away from the familiar when it's no longer honest. Forgiveness is Stoic. Blind tolerance is not. When trust dies, love becomes labor. And no one thrives in a prison built from lies. 6. Incompatibility of core values, expanded. You believe in honesty. They think white lies are normal. You prioritize peace. They thrive on drama. You're building. They're coasting. You seek growth. They mock self-improvement. That's not a difference in taste. That's a fundamental divide. The Stoics taught us to live in accordance with nature, and part of that means aligning our values with our actions. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If the person close to you constantly clashes with your core values, they're changing the color of your soul. It's not about judgment. It's about direction. If they're going east and you're going west, then love means letting go, not holding on. 7. Emotional exhaustion, expanded. You dread their calls. You rehearse every conversation before speaking. You walk on eggshells to keep the peace. That's not a relationship. That's emotional survival. Stoicism teaches us to protect our tranquility as a sacred treasure, to avoid unnecessary suffering, especially when it comes in the form of constant emotional labor. If someone drains you more than they inspire you, if peace only returns when they leave the room, that's your soul's quiet cry for release. Epictetus would say, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." Freedom from manipulation. Freedom from drama. Freedom from walking on glass. 8. Hindrance to personal growth, expanded. A great relationship should make you more of who you are, not less. If someone consistently mocks your goals, dismisses your ambitions, discourages your evolution, makes you feel too much for simply wanting more from life, they're not afraid of losing you, they're afraid of you outgrowing them. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." And sometimes the person standing in the way is the one right next to you. Your growth is non-negotiable. No relationship is worth the price of your potential. The courage to walk away. Letting go doesn't always come with anger. Sometimes it comes with silence, with clarity, with a deep breath and a soft whisper that says, "I deserve peace." The Stoics remind us, you can't change others. You can't fix what doesn't want to be fixed. But you can choose the environment you allow your spirit to grow in. And if walking away opens the door to that peace, then it's not selfish. It's sacred. If you found value in this message, subscribe to the channel. Let's grow in wisdom, resilience, and quiet strength, together. This is Stoic Beyond Limits. Until next time, hold your peace like a sword. 9. Why relationships shape our character. The ancient Stoics deeply understood something modern society often overlooks. You are not just the product of your habits and thoughts, you are also the sum of the people you allow close to you. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, often reminded himself that while external circumstances and people cannot harm his soul directly, his own reaction to them could. And the relationships we cling to either nurture our reason and tranquility, or they corrode it bit by bit. Think about the 5 people you spend the most time around. Are they peace givers or chaos bringers? Do they uplift your values or subtly belittle them? Would Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus approve of these companions? You see, the company you keep influences the nature of your thoughts, and thoughts influence action, and actions shape your destiny. Seneca warned, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Because if you don't, you'll either sink to their level or exhaust yourself trying to stay afloat. 10. Real-life example. The hidden cost of one toxic relationship. Consider this. A man named Elias, a successful entrepreneur, quietly cut ties with his closest childhood friend. Not out of anger, not out of betrayal, but because every conversation was a complaint. Every meeting turned into a contest of who had it worse. Elias realized that even though he had mastered financial success, his peace was bleeding out through this one connection. When Elias finally distanced himself, he reported something surprising. Clarity returned. Ideas flowed. His sleep improved. And more importantly, his other relationships blossomed. Why? Because one draining connection no longer clouded his emotional landscape. This is what the Stoics teach. Protect your mind like a fortress. You don't need enemies outside your walls when you allow them to live rent-free within. 11. The Stoic concept of sympathia. The Stoics believed in sympathia, the interconnectedness of all things. We're made for cooperation, not conflict. But cooperation requires a shared commitment to virtue, and if someone consistently lives in opposition to virtue, their presence creates an imbalance in your moral ecosystem. Marcus Aurelius said, "Adapt yourself to the things among which your lot has been cast, and love sincerely the fellow creatures with whom destiny has ordained that you shall live." But what happens when a fellow creature actively works against your peace? The Stoic solution isn't vengeance or resentment, it's disconnection without malice. They are what they are. You are what you choose to become. And if your paths diverge, that's not failure, that's natural order asserting itself. 12. Deep dive. How the Stoics dealt with family ties. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoic wisdom is its brutal honesty about family. Modern culture romanticizes the idea of unconditional loyalty to family, no matter the cost. But the Stoics understood that not all kin are kind. Not all blood bonds are healthy. Seneca noted, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." And sometimes, people crave control over you because you're family. If a family member constantly disrespects your time, values, and peace, Stoicism permits, and sometimes demands, distance. You owe virtue to all, but access to few. Loyalty is admirable. Blind loyalty is dangerous. 13. Practical exercise. The relationship audit. Let's make this practical. Take a moment, perhaps after this video, and list out the people you're closest to. Friends, family, co-workers. Next to each name, answer honestly. Do I feel lighter or heavier after spending time with them? Do they respect my boundaries? Are our core values aligned? Do they support my growth or subtly sabotage it? Do I trust them with my vulnerabilities? If you hesitate more than twice for any name, it may be a sign. And remember, clarity is not cruelty. Distance is sometimes mercy in disguise. 14. On emotional detachment. The Stoic way. A crucial misunderstanding about Stoicism is that it promotes coldness. In reality, Stoicism promotes healthy detachment, the ability to care without clinging, to love without losing yourself, and to help without enabling. You can walk away with peace in your heart. You can forgive and forget without ever returning to that harmful dynamic. Epictetus advised, "Remember that it is not he who gives abuse or blows who insults you, but the view that you take of these things as insulting." You have the power to choose not just who you let into your life, but also how much weight their presence carries. 15. Historical example. Cato the Younger's defiance. Cato the Younger, one of Stoicism's great champions, famously distanced himself from political allies and even family members when their ethics faltered. He understood something many today forget. Your virtue is non-negotiable. No relationship, title, or history should come at the cost of your integrity. When you sever ties with those who no longer align with your values, you're not destroying history. you're preserving your future. 16. Audience reflection prompt. Interactive. If you've stayed this far into the video, it means you've likely recognized at least one relationship that's quietly poisoning your peace. I want you to comment below. I choose peace. Not for drama. Not for revenge. But as a quiet declaration to yourself that from this day forward you honor your tranquility over tradition, over guilt, and over false obligations. You are not selfish for choosing serenity. You are wise. Final Stoic reminder. Peace is the ultimate currency. At the end of every Stoic's meditation lies one truth. All things external are indifferent. It's your inner state that defines your fate. As Marcus Aurelius concluded in his writings, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Friendship, family, and familiarity are external. Peace, virtue, and reason are internal. When external ties threaten your inner sanctuary, choose yourself. Stay strong. Stay serene. Stay sovereign. This is Stoic Beyond Limits. Subscribe for more wisdom, and until next time, guard your peace like a warrior.